Hi everyone, and welcome back to another video of Mastering Power BI with us, Centrix. In today's video, we will be discovering the latest update, that is the new slicer button and the reference labels Power BI. So let's go to my Power BI desktop and get started. I am in my Power BI desktop. The report page that we see here is an overview of the average length of stay for 2023, and this report page is very basic with the old slicer here, the old card visual, and a visual that shows us the average length of stay compared to the forecasted one by month. It is very basic, as I said, and not very actionable. In today's video, we are going to see how we can elevate the design of our report page to go from this to this. In this page, we have the new slicer, we have the new card visual with the reference label and also a conditional formatting, and the toggle button that we will also see how we can build, that just turns on the forecast and it also turns it off. So let's get started. I'm gonna go to the initial page and we are going to build together the new slicer. The new slicer button is here. If you cannot find it, please make sure to update your Power BI desktop and to go to files, and then under settings here, you go to options and you click on the preview features and make sure to turn it on. Button, slicer visual, new card visual, and so on. Once you have this done, you're gonna have to restart your Power BI desktop and then you'll be able to have it. So I'm going to click on here. This is the new slicer, and I will drag the location name here, and now we have it here. I'm going to get rid of the old slicer here, and we are going to start formatting. The first thing is turning off the background, and then we're going to go back to visual, and then under slicer setting, here you have the option to do a single select or a forced selection, which forces your user to select, so he cannot unselect it. Just like when it's turned off here, you can unselect and have the result for all. In our case, I'm just going to turn it off, and you can also add the select all here. So it's gonna select it all. And then for the shape, we can do all of these shapes. I'm gonna do rounded rectangle, and then I'll go for 10, like this. And then for the layout, here you can choose either in the middle, a bit to the down or up, and then you can select up to 10 rows and 10 columns. In our case, we're going to do 1 row and then 4 columns, and I'm going to go to for the space, and I'm going to do this. We also have the option for the overflow for a style and also a direction. The overflow goes like this. In this example, I have here my month, and in our case here, we have the overflow set to paginated and then horizontal. If you were to change it to continuous scroll and then let's say vertical, this is what it will look like. So this is just another formatting option that you can do. So we'll skip it for our case. So I go back here. We're gonna go to the call out values. So the call out values, this is where you're gonna have to play around your states when it's on default, when you hover over it, when you press it, and when you select it. So for the default, we're gonna change the font to here. I'm gonna do 11. And then I'm gonna keep the color as is. When it is on hover, I wanna increase the size. So I'm gonna do 13, so you see how it increases. Looks so much better already. And then the same when it is selected. So you click on it, it has selected. This is for the value. And then you can also add a label to the value if you want. I also want to get rid of the title, so I go here and I select it. I'm gonna just make it bigger a bit, like this. So after you play around with your callout values, we have the option now to add the image. And this applies as well for, you can change the image depending on the state. So on default, you can choose an image, and on the press, you can choose another image. This is what you want. And then for the image, you can either select a DAX measure that you have already written, or it can be a certain field in a table. For this one, we are going to do a DAX measure, and I have already written my DAX measure here. So we're gonna go through it together. The DAX measure goes as follows. So it's gonna take the switch measure, and whenever we're switching between the location name, we are going to give it a result. So if the maximum from the table facility structure and the colon is location name, if it is Lakefield Hospital, then it's going to be this image, which is this link. And the same logic goes to the others. The link, I have mine from Dropbox. I just added it here, so we are going to do the same for the last one together. So I'm just going to remove it here. I'm going to go to my Dropbox here, and this is my link. I will copy my link. I'll go back to my Power BI, and I'm gonna paste it here. And this is where we are going to do some changes. So you see this one here? We're gonna change it to raw equal 1. And we're gonna press. Okay. Now we're gonna drag and drop here. And it works. So we have the ability to change the transparency, the saturation. So the transparency, how transparent it looks. Saturation is about the colors. I'm gonna keep it like this. And then you can even blur it out if you want. And you can choose the position either to be to the right, bottom, or top. I'm gonna do left. And you can increase also the area size as well. I'm gonna do this. And this is the space between the image, and you can add the padding or you can turn it off. I'm going to turn it off. Now I want to change a bit the design for when they hover over it. I want to do maybe, or no, maybe when it is on default, I'm gonna blur it, and when it is selected, I'm going to remove it. Yeah, like this. This is better. Okay. Now this is for the image. Now we will move to the button itself. This is where we can change the color that we see here. So we want to change the black to something else. Same logic, you choose the state you want. We're gonna start with the default. We're gonna do border. We're gonna do border. And we're gonna fill it with maybe this color. And then you can also add a shadow or a glow or an accent bar, but we're not gonna do that. I wanna do when it is selected, we're gonna change the selected to another color. So we're gonna fill it with maybe like this. Yeah. And then maybe get rid of the border. That's a wrap for the slicer. Now we're gonna move to the card. This is the card that we have here, the previous one. We're gonna add the new one that says card new. And we will make it bigger and go here and add the ALOS under data. And we're gonna start formatting. As usual, we turn off the background. We go to visual. The shape, I'm gonna do rounded. I'm gonna do 10, like this. The layout, you can choose a vertical or maybe to the top or bottom. It can be a grid, vertical or horizontal. And you can choose the space between cards. In our case, it's gonna be just one card. The call out value. So I'm just gonna change this and you can make it smaller. Gonna do 30. You can even bold it out. And the label, which is the ALOS here, I'm just gonna change the color to blue as well. And it's gonna be above or below. I'm gonna do above. This is for the call out. Now what we are interested in is the reference label, which is the new update. So the reference label is gonna be for the ALOS series, and this is where you can add the data that you want. So in my case, I'm gonna add the previous year ALOS, and then you click on the PY ALOS, and you can choose a title, either the field name or a custom. I'm gonna do custom and do previous year, like this. And then the value, I'm gonna do the value in bold and maybe make it bigger. And you can also change the font color, and it can be a conditional format, which is a DAX measure that you have written. I'm not gonna do it for the value itself, I'm gonna do it for the background. So we go here and we click on all, and where you see background, I'm just gonna change here to a field value, and my name is, the name of my DAX is this. So it's gonna be red. So this is how my conditional formatting goes. So it's just gonna compare my ALOS to the previous one. If it's higher than the previous one, it's going to be a red color, and if it's lower than a green, because the ALOS should decrease over time, not increase. So you can either do the code, or you can just say red and green. Okay, now I'm gonna do some further formatting. I'm gonna go back here to PYALOS. You can also add a detail to it. So for my case, I'm gonna add the percent change. I'm going to choose this. I'm also gonna do bold, and I'm gonna change the font to the same color here. And now we will change the layout. So all layout. So it can be in a row or in column. I'm gonna do columns, and you can also change the alignment. I'm gonna keep it like this. So this is for the reference label. Now the new thing as well is adding an image. So this is where you can access your own files. In my case, I'm gonna choose this one, open it, and you can change the transparency, the position, the left, and also the padding and the size. I'm just gonna do, I'm just gonna do 20, no, more, 30. Yeah, this is good. Now, this is a wrap for the card. Last thing on the list today is the toggle button. So how are we going to do that? Let's go. Before I add my slicer button, I'm going to copy paste the circle for the toggle button. So to do that, we go to enter data here, and then I'm gonna rename this to toggle icon, and then the table is gonna be toggle 2 because I have already created one. So here it's either you copy paste the icon that you found on the web, or you just click on Windows dot and you choose the one that you want. I'm gonna click on this one and then I'm going to load it. Now that it has loaded, we'll go to the slicer. We're gonna do toggle 2 here. This is the one that we created, and put the icon here like this. And now, as usual, we're gonna turn off the background. I'm gonna change the title to forecast. We're gonna make it a bit smaller like this. And then for the setting, I'm going to change the shape to rounded, and then the layout is gonna be 1 and then 1, and then I'm gonna make this a bit smaller, and then like this. Call out value, you can't, I'm gonna decrease it a bit, I'm gonna keep it like this. And then it is on default, it's gonna be to the left. When it has been selected, it's gonna move to the right. Okay, so we'll try it. It works. Now we're gonna fix the padding. So default padding, we're gonna do custom, and we're gonna do this like this is good. And then we're gonna keep it like this. And then when it is selected, we're gonna fill it in white. Let's try it. Yeah, but the border is not gonna be this, it's gonna be this. I mean, we can change the border to another color just to signal them that, you know, it's on. We can increase the width maybe. Yeah, it's not bad. And we're gonna put it here. Now this is the toggle we have created. Now what the toggle is going to show on the visual, so we're gonna have to write a DAX measure about it. But before we do that, I'm going to get rid of the ALOS forecast here, and we are going to add on the y-axis the measure that we're gonna create, that I have already created. It's called forecast toggle, and this one here says that if the toggle is filtered, then you're gonna show the ALOS forecast. I'm going to change toggle to 2. It's filtered. Toggle 2 here. And now we're gonna add it here. Let's see if it works. It works. I just want to do one last change for the line. For the forecast, I want to do it, I want to do dash maybe, and then I want to change the color to maybe something lighter, just like this. We're gonna also get rid of the legend because we no longer need it. So now it's obvious that, you know, when you turn this on, we're gonna see the forecast. This is it for today. We were able to elevate our report page from a very boring design to a more elevated, engaging, interactive design filled with the latest Power BI updates. As I mentioned, we have the new slicer, we have the new card with the reference label, the image, and also the toggle button. If you've made it till the end of this video, please make sure to comment, like, subscribe, share, and leave us your comments below. Until then, see you in the next video. Bye!